Hello, welcome to the Turret of Pleasure here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I'm your host, Zip Gun. I'm the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom, and we're in the entertainment center here, the Turret of Pleasure. And I was just watching YouTube and I saw props to, is it Alan Rosenberg? Did a little one of those, what I found in the thrift store kind of videos. But not only did he review CDs and not records, he actually says in his video that he prefers CDs. Now I got this, I can get rid of the vinyl. So there is more than one of us out there. So that's good to see. If you like stuff like mine, he's probably a good place to go. And he just did this video. He got 30 CDs for 20 bucks, which I do pretty routinely. But he did get some pretty cool stuff, and that was the neat thing watching it. He was like, "Oh, you got that? Wow!" And then some of the things he was excited to get, I kind of went, "Yeah, I don't want that." But that's how it is, everybody has different tastes. So I'm going to show you. This is the last couple of weeks of thrift stores, and I think I got the prices in my mind. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to go in order of cost. I think it will be. This was from a free pile that my wife blundered upon, the Empress herself. She has a nose for free piles, and she can scent this stuff out. Now this I do not need, but it is the City of Birmingham Symphony. This is, I do believe, a Chandos recording, but it's put out by the incredibly boring Musical Heritage Society, who have the worst covers in the world. I'm going to give that to somebody. Then we have the best of John Philip Sousa on Attic Records, which is the Central Air Force Band of the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force. That is a really weird CD, and it was free. I'm going to make room for this somewhere. I don't know why. And then we get your usual, the best of big bands, Artie Shaw. Now this is on Columbia, so this is a sort of legit. Again, free. I'll take it. I'll make room for this. I don't think I have an Artie Shaw best of. And then we have, okay, where's the other one? The other one's here somewhere too. There it is. Then there was this. This goes somewhere else. I think I don't need that. This is tough because this has my favorite Rush song on it, which is YYZ. Why? Nobody sings on it. It's a tricky one. I might have to keep that one. I'm running out of room here. There's no windows left. Then there was Johnny Gimbel, the Texas Fiddle Collection. This looks really interesting. Now, it's on BMG Direct, so it was part of the RCA Record Club. But it's on CMH, which is a label I don't recognize. 70 minutes of music. I didn't even really look at this. I haven't listened to a lot of these, so I will confess to be rather uneducated on many of them. Oh, well, you get the new Jim Boyd. Remember, when is this made? 1989. Oh, there's liner notes and everything. You know what? I will play this. When I feel like some good fiddle music, I'll bet you it's slick as hell. And then, just for good measure, there is a Deutsche Brahms's German Requiem. Harmonia Mundi. I've not heard of the people involved, but it's 96. Harmonia Mundi, I'll buy it every minute of every day for $2 or less. I'll quickly go through this weird stuff. We got Melodia Rachmaninoff Vespers. It's Russian music. It's on a Russian label. Of course I'm going to buy it. I got Verdi. This is a weird one. Chicago Symphony Orchestra self-released Verdi Requiem de Messa de Requiem. That's going to be good. And these were $1, I think. Another weird one. Chandos, I'll buy it. Nielsen, I'll buy it. Choir. Interesting. I don't have this repertoire, I think, anywhere. So, yep, I'll pay $1 for that. And then, of course, I'm a sucker for these. The Arion series. French label. They do really good world music records. And these are old recordings from Tuscany, which are really some really cool singing. It's hard to describe, but it's not what you would expect. And then this was something the Empress found. I think the band is called Thrace. And it's a cellist and a guy that plays this little rebec-like thing. I forget what they call it. And then a couple of hand drummers. And it is essentially fusion music of sort of Greek, Thracian kind of stuff with elements of jazz. There's a Lutoslawski piece on it. So it's in that sort of gray area. It could be terrible, but it's actually really quite good. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but it was encouraging. And it's Harmonia Mundi, and those kind of labels, when they go outside of classical music, sometimes it's not very good. That one's pretty good. Okay, now I got three. Only three? There should be four. There's the other one. Okay, now these are weird. These are popping up in the thrift stores a lot. And these are the mystery European best ofs. They're usually 3 CDs. This one's Hank Williams. Oh, how cool is that? What label is it on? Well, it doesn't actually say anywhere. The Absolutely Essential Collection. And you know what? It pretty much, 3 CDs of Hank. Now, here's the thing. It's very murky about who this actually is. But it says here, this digitally remastered collection, PNC, Big 3, I think is the name of the label. There is, needless to say, no information other than the song title, the writer, and, mercifully, the year. And it goes up to 53, at least. So this is all the early stuff. Now they have, indeed, Cedar remastered this, I think. And Cedar is a controversial, I don't know if this one's Cedar or not. Anyway, there's 3 CD, it was $1. So yeah, and it sounds great because they've done this crackerjack remastering job on, what was it, Big 3. Then on Box 4 Records, and that has EEC all over it, here is Ella Fitzgerald, 60 songs on 3 compact discs in an unbelievably bland package, just the shits. But this says in big letter, Cedar Digital Remastering, and by God, they have indeed, I'm sure, cedared these. Now, again, you get a great booklet that contains the title, the writer, and the time. And that is it. Not a word about Ella. Now, I looked some of these up on a discography on the internet, and this is all terrific stuff. Early, she was fantastic. $1 for 3. Buy it and throw it in your car. Then the Empress found this, Miles Davis, and she sort of called it out over the phone. And I was like, aha. And this is yet another, it's two CDs, and it's 3 different bands from 3 different eras. And they're all crap bootleg recordings, but they're okay to listen to. One is Paris 67, Davis Shorter, Hancock, Carter, Williams. From Paris, sound is decent. Then you get 2 tracks, about half an hour. Rome 69, Davis Shorter, Chick Corea, Dave Hall, and Jack DeJohnette. You get Bitches Brew, you got a Bitches Brew medley and a bit of Silent Wave. And then for the end, the tag, which is about another half hour, you get Davis Shorter, Hancock, Carter, Williams in Sindelfingen, 1964, which I'm going to just assume is in Germany. It says Suecia, which makes me want to think it's from Switzerland, but it says made in Italy by Phonocomp, so I'm not sure what the Suecia is all about. This was $1, and this was $1. Now this is a little bit different because this is actually put up by the actual people that are allowed to put this out, and this is basically all the Sam Cooke I'm ever going to need. 2003 Abco, decently annotated. They got a story about every song. For $1, I thought I'd buy it, listen to it once. Now the free bin. There's more free bin stuff. Recommend enough. This I've already got. I'm going to give it to somebody. This was not the free bin. Hang on. This was the free bin. Chanticleer, vocal group, Teldec, fabulous sound. What are they doing here? They're doing sort of traditional gospel songs. Creamy vocals. This is a classic. After the Ball, William Balcom. Basically, this isn't the one I've got that has Bicycle Built for 2 on it, I don't think. But it's that stuff. Turn of the century pop music, sort of almost operetta or whatever. And a lot of great songs, really well sung. done period correct, as you would say. We got, what do we got here? We got Slatkin and the St. Louis Symphony doing Prokofiev Cinderella Suite. Now, you know what? I don't think I have this. And I'm going to make room for this because this is a pretty good record if I remember right. That was free. Karl Löh, who I've never heard of, German composer, his ballades for bass and piano. And again, Harmonia Mundi, it was, I think this one was a dime. For a dime, I'll buy it. This was a dime. Note the completely incorrect front cover of the CD. Now, yeah, this is not made in Arabia. In fact, this has nothing to do with EMI. And the annoying thing is I'm looking for my EMI Arabia CD that I have that I could swap this with, which would make that one even cooler. This is Andy Summers of The Police, who adepts know is actually a pretty bloody good guitar player, and John Etheridge, who a lot of people probably haven't heard of, but he was the equally good guitar player in, amongst other bands, Soft Machine. And he was in Daryl Way's Wolf. This is acoustic. I played about 4 songs on it, liked all of it. Guitar nerds are going to fucking love this record. This was a dime. This was a dime. I couldn't, okay. He's a dick. I don't like him much. But for a dime, I got sort of the last word on about 3 songs that I might want to hear again. And if I just get tired of his bullshit, I'll sell it. So there you go. Another dime. Shirley Horn. This is another one. It's Verve. I gotta buy it. A dime? Shit. I'll buy every single record on Verve for a dime. Including this one, which I might never play twice. It's very, Johnny Mandel. It's, she's got a trio. Wynton Marsalis plays on 2 tracks. And Shirley is really great. She's a very underrated singer. I've always quite liked her. I found a lot of her CDs in the thrift store for cheap, and I've enjoyed every one of them. Now, we're getting into dollar land. Again, what have I said about Van Morrison? Another asshole. But every Van Morrison record has at least 2 really good songs on it. This one I think might even have like 4. I like the title song still. Kingdom Hall's a good song. Anyway, this was $1. I don't have it. I'll probably play it. Now, this is a band, I think I might just have made my mind up on this band. I had a couple of their CDs. They didn't move me. I bought the brown covered one with John McEntire on it. It was okay, but it didn't move me, and there was something about them that did not resonate. This is their conceptual space age bachelor pad music. This gets a real good review in All Music, if I remember correctly. And it's basically side 1, easy listening, side 2, new wave. You know what? I really found this dull and pretentious. And I did not connect with it. I think I've had it with these guys. I'm going to give another try. Speaking of bands I've had it with a long time ago, I couldn't not buy not 1, not 2, but the 3 Dead Can Dance CDs, who are like 4th generation 4AD goth rock. They're all worth hearing once. I actually bought these for the Empress just in case she likes them. Failing that, I am pretty sure I can trade these in for tiny amounts of money. This is their best of. It's missing a CD, so maybe I'll keep that one. And I think it's got this 2nd CD, but there you go. I think these were $1 each. This was $1. I was very curious. Now, most of the time I pass on these. This is a very small issue, it appears. Solo guitarist. There's a lot of these out there. Most of these guys can play. This is from Germany. I noticed the word rough trade, which was interesting. Germany. Then I noticed he does King Kong by Frank Zappa. He does Lazy Bird by John Coltrane. And he does Very Early by Bill Evans. He does All the Things You Are. And he does a whole lot of originals. And he plays a really weird looking guitar. And it's produced by Peter Finger, who's a known German guitar guy. Anyway, $1. It was good. King Kong is done very interestingly. And it was worth buying. The Empress just phoned. Hey, do you have this? Nope, it's $1. Okay, ballads by John Coltrane. I don't have it. You know what? I don't have it. Now I do. Great. This one. Okay, Painted Blue, tribute to the Rolling Stones. This was only $1, folks. So I was like, okay, now I like the Stones, but when they're being covered by Luther Allison, Johnny Copeland, Junior Wells, Otis Clay, Taj Mahal, I mean, Joe Louis Walker, come on. Gatemouth Brown is on this. So this is kind of, it's not bad. It's not, Andrew Malloy might want a copy of this. Just because. Now it's on House of Blues, it appears to be a label, which just makes me cringe. So there's something about this that just bugs me. But I listened to 2 or 3 tracks. It was pretty solid. I'm going to stick it in the car, and when it rolls around at random, I'll bet you I enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know, $1. I got a copy of this, which, if you've never heard it, you should hear it. Now, this is a surplus to requirements copy, it turns out. So I'm going to just give that to somebody. And again, in the gray, this was only $1. I finally found this. Now, I like this guy. This guy is really, I think he's really funny. And he certainly puts out when he performs. This has the added bonus of being produced by Steve Albini, who just, of course, makes it sound completely weird and utterly different than all this guy's other records, which I really, really like. But some of the guitar sounds in this make me laugh out loud. And there's a lot of it. There's like fucking, 20 tracks on it. But delighted to have found it. The Empress found this for $1. This is exactly what I thought it would be, which is to say, essentially, it's kind of boring. It's got loud guitars. I love Paul Leary's production style. He did good work with the Meat Puppets. This band just sounds like, I don't know. It's on Capitol. One thing I'll admit, years and years ago when these guys were on Touch and Go, I was talking with a friend and I said, you know, these guys, they'd be on a major label if they didn't have such a stupid name. Within 6 months, they were on Capitol. Capitol Records, ladies and gentlemen. They're getting to be my poster boy of the great music disaster dome. What else we got here? I gotta go fast. This was $2. This is an absolutely fantastic record by one of the greatest jazz drummers I've ever heard. I met the man in person once when I was super plastered and made a complete fool out of myself. Years later, he came up with this record, which has got everybody on it. I mean, this, if you're into jazz, rock people are gonna go yawn. But we have Abby Dieng on percussion. We have Dave Friedman on vibes, Bill Frisell on guitar, Howard Johnson on tuba, bass clarinet, Sheila Jordan, Jean Lee on vocals, Lyle Mays on synth, Jim Pepper on tenor. Oh man, like Jeremy Steig on flute, Steve Swallow on bass, Nana Vasconcelos on percussion. And this is a big canvas, sort of arranged jazz record. It's sort of overwhelming. You got to be in the mood for it, but when I'm in the mood for it, I absolutely love it. I've had the LP since, whatever, 83. And to find it, it was a little scratched up, and I took a chance and it plays. This was $1. Sonny Landreth. This is actually not bad. I've heard a lot about this guy. He is a really good slide player. That much I can tell you. The people that produced this record, I think, had bought some nice new compressors and decided to give him a good workout, which I think maybe was a bit too much. But it's okay. The songs are good. And I'm just, you wonder a context for this guy that would be ideal. But it's good. I liked it. It was worth $1. Then I got this. I haven't heard this yet, or I heard a little tiny bit of it. And a recent UB40 record. Now, I'm of the opinion that UB40 can't make a bad record, really. There are some that are better than others. This one has a slightly militant look about it. I'll let you know. And this I haven't played either, but how can this not be decent? I really like Rodney Crowell. Emmylou is never less than decent, I think. It's recent. Brian Aaron produced it. And the reviews are good. I think I'll like it. This I bought simply because A, it's on Charlie, B, it's Eddie Palmieri. Thank you. Sorry. One of those mental blocks. Great salsa pianist. This is the real deal. It's lots of fun. I don't play it a lot. Delighted to find this was, I think, $2, in fact. But a very underrated record. Their first record, I think, is fantastic. Years have this came out. It was a little bit of a letdown because it wasn't quite so high energy, but it's stood the test of time. Very, very good record. So there you go. There's that. Now, finally, now this was a buck. 2 CDs of sound effects. I get up to a lot of mischief with these CDs, and so to get 2 of them. Oh, there you go. It's one of those awful packages that doesn't hold the CDs. So that goes into the no-ned system. Okay, now that's just the CDs. Okay, brace yourself. We're going into obsolete technologies here now. Now, I found 4 LPs. Now, if you know this channel, you know that I am just about fucking sick and tired of LPs. But I went to a Restore in Langford at a pile, not very many, and they were $1, which is reasonable. So I found, okay, I will never not buy for $1 a record of a pond or a park. Now, those of you who've ever heard any of my solo stuff will know the Frog Pond. You know, this goes into the to be used in music pile. Now, this I bought. This was $1, and I'm a little disappointed because it's in really good shape. It's basically a regular album, 1969, I believe it says somewhere. But it's on the Warner 7 label, which only existed briefly when 7 Arts bought Warner Brothers out. It's on the groovy gold Warner Brothers label. Now, this is a Canadian pressing, I think. I didn't actually check. It's a little beat up. It sort of sounds like crap. Oh yeah, Canada. It's Canadian. Okay. Big solid old cover. She does, the reason I bought this, really, the tipping point, really, was she does Happy Together, Hey Jude, and The Fool on the Hill. And they were pretty much exactly the way you thought they would be, which is to say, not really great ideas. Now, under the I will buy it no matter what kind of category, we have a double record from India on the Odeon label. Now, that Odeon, of course, is a sticker, and I don't know what would be under that. It might be the Columbia single, which is about that agreement they made. Oh, I'm so curious. It's something they had to cover up for copyright because there was that big thing between Columbia Records and Columbia EMI. And even the labels have been covered. Ooh. This is, now I played some of this, and I cannot make head nor tails out of this. It's a double album. It appears to be like either a story or I don't know, a tale. There isn't, yeah. Asa Di War is utterances of Guru Nanak composed in the raga Asa, which is the raga of the early morning, and in the poetic form of war, which is peculiar to Punjabi and Rajasthani. And as more than that, I can't tell you because I just don't get it. I played 5 minutes of it. It's in the to be played pile. In these, I found one of these great things. Now, regular collectors will know these. These were the Lost Leaders. Warner Brothers had this brilliant idea of releasing these double albums, various artists, to promote their artists, which was a bloody good idea. And they sold them for $2. I do believe, was it $2? $2. This one you can order one of 6. Now, I've got a few of these. They're great because sometimes they give you stuff that wasn't on any album, like Van Dyke Parks playing the Moog or something. Finally, we have, now this record kind of went under my radar. When I was a young man, I really liked Walter Carlos, Switched on Bach, and subsequently the Well-Tempered Synthesizer, and then subsequently Sonic Seasonings, Clockwork Orange, and Switched on Bach 2. All of which I was a big fan of, because I think I discovered Switched on Bach maybe about 1970 maybe. And, but this came out in 75. Now, by 1972, Walter became Wendy. But for marketing reasons, they remained Walter. She remained Walter, I guess I should say. And so this was, I guess, I'm going to guess it's a bit of an awkward time in Wendy's life. And this looks like a make-weight, this record. It's got 3 dances from the Nutcracker. It's got the first movement of the second Brandenburg, which I'm willing to bet ended up on the next record that came out on Masterworks, which was switched on Brandenburgs, which was under the name of Wendy Carlos. So this, I think, was the last Walter record. So I think that's a preview of that. Then you've got a little fugue in G minor by Bach. You've got What's New Pussycat, which is fucking terrible. It's there, I said it. It's unlistenably bad. It's worth hearing once just to go. It's not even funny. It's just bad. Then there's a relatively good version of Eleanor Rigby. There's an okay wedding march thing. And then there's a kind of a fun piece called Pompous Circumstances, Variations in Fantasy, on a theme by Elgar. Now, the funny thing is they had to take this off the record in Britain because Elgar's estate was outraged at this terrible use of the great man's work. And I don't remember what they replaced it with. Now, this record really, it's all my antenna, and I've got weird antenna here, sort of started going off because then I noticed there's 3 Walter Carlos originals featuring a pianist. And what they don't, well, they tell you, but they don't really, when you look at this, you don't kind of go, But what this is Walter's first 2 compositions to be recorded by anybody. I do believe they're from 64-ish. Or I think they were actually subsequently recorded for this record, but they're his earliest pieces, and they're electronic music with piano. Really interesting, very well done, quite cool for the period. You have to sort of take yourself back to 1964 and go, what would this have sounded like in 64? And my answer was, this was pretty fucking good for 1964. Then there's a more current thing, the Geodesic Dance, Electronic Etude by W. Carlos, and it's really weird. It's like, what's 1975? It's almost prog rock, a little bit like some of those Italian classical prog rock bands. Anyway, I was really happy to get this. Played it all the way through, and it fills a gap in my discography. Now, here's a weird thing. Anybody can... This has a strange gold stamp, which I don't understand. And my old thing down here, it usually says Columbia Stereo on the spine. Now, this has a sticker that seems to override not the number, but the prefix. So this is really strange. On the back, it's 32088. No prefix. Okay. Here, the prefix is M32088, and the rather poorly aligned sticker. Now, I am pretty sure, because it ends in an O, that was going to say Columbia Stereo. Now, okay, so far so good. So it's a Columbia Stereo. But when I looked at this, now this is 1975, remember. All of these numbers, all of them are in small font. And that was common to what I called the ghost quads. Now, the other weird thing about this is I don't know if this is a first pressing because it's got a later Masterworks label. The font is different. So either this is a subsequent press where they changed the prefix, or maybe there was a mistake, or maybe, I got a feeling this maybe was going to be a ghost quad and then they changed their minds. But we'll never know. I'd love to know if anybody can solve that mystery. Okay, so there's that obsolete technology, but now we're getting into crazy land. Okay, these were in the free pile. The aforementioned free pile for, yes folks, pre-recorded reel-to-reel tapes. Now, back when I was a very young man in the 60s, about the year this would have come out, this was the shit. This was the absolute acme of sound quality. There was no ticks, no pops, no swish, no nothing. All there was, well, in this day and age, it was a bit of hiss. Because they didn't have anything to get rid of the hiss. Look at this. Ah, this is so sexy. I have nothing to play these on at the moment. We will report later, because we got stuff at the studio. I'm sure the microphonic fool and I might do a demonstration. This has Ampex stereo sticker on it, which is great. The label is boring as snot. But inside, oh boy, new from Ampex, Stereo Tape 68. Now this appears to be a thing where you mail it into them and they send you a catalog. And you know, I'm so tempted to mail these things nowadays. Maybe make a copy of it, mail it, and see what happens. See if it comes back. It probably would, maybe. It is the American postal system, so we could test it, couldn't we? Anyway, there's that one. This is a classic Eugene Ormandy Lieutenant Kiji. This is a very famous recording. This, you will notice, is this is probably 60s stereo disc MS6545. This is MQ615. I don't know. Fairly slick gray reel. Ooh, with the silver. That's for the audiophile with his Revox tape machine. Later, I'm starting to get erect here. Okay, I collect Argo. I like Mozart violin. This is getting really sexy. And it's in Dolby, so whoa, how good is it gonna be? 7.5 IPS. This tape was duplicated by Barclay Crocker in the USA under license from London Records. So by this point, and I think this is 74, ARG E729. St. Martin in the Fields. How can you go wrong with Mozart by St. Martin in the Fields? Now this is very sexy because you have the sort of parchment-like booklet, which tells you all about, look at that, this is just to die for. And then you get the we urge you to read this enclosure, Sonics. Oh, there's Sonic Sentry on this. This one's weird, yes. So when there's no music, because they've got it so you can just turn the tape over, I forget. They've got low frequency things so you can reel rock and you'll hear these very, typical British thing. Nerdy British. 1973. But there you go. That's a that's a sexy label. I like all of this. The chances are these will never get played, maybe. But I don't care. I just want to keep them somewhere far away from magnets. And of course, the final fully erect response is a sealed copy of Therese by Massenet. Dolby, with the Dolby sticker. This is 74. Now, believe it or not, they made these things till, I think it was 89. I don't know. And this appears to have been made by Decca themselves. That one was sort of made by a company that did it for them. And those are free. So that's cool. So, yeah. And they're all CDs, and I didn't pay very much for any of these. I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't believe I paid $50 for everything you saw in this video. So there you go. And although I probably spent $20 in gas. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we've had a good time here. And we're going to do some more stuff later about other things we got. But for the time being, we're going to sign off, and don't forget to subscribe and tell me what you think if you got a comment, and we'll talk to you later. Take care of each other. Bye.